Your sweetheart. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Can I get, wait, hold up real quick. Can I get a good morning?
Good morning.
Can I get a good morning?
Good morning.
All right, you guys, calm down. It's getting crazy in here. It's getting too crazy for me. Like I said, or like she said, Jen, she's amazing. Thank you for everything today. My name is Elise Swopes. I am from Chicago, Illinois. I'm going to go ahead and get this clicker going because I am a professional PowerPoint maker. I don't know where the clicker went, actually, TBH. No worries. Thank you.
Okay, so this is the clicker, and can we flip your mic on?
Yes. Oh, I think it might have been on. I'm going to just show you my butt so you can just do it yourself.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be great.
Oh, it is on. Are we good? Cool.
Hey. Okay, cool. So you've seen a little bit of my work, but we're just going to get started, and we only have 25 minutes today. You guys obviously can tell a little bit. I love to talk a lot, so I'm going to try to cram everything in as much as I can. When I do talks like this, I know I'm up here and I'm the one talking, but it's also about you guys. If you ever have any questions, I know we're doing Q&A at the end, but if you ever want to raise your hand and be like, yo, Swopes, I got a question real quick. Let me just ask you. Please do it because I'm here to tell you guys about myself, to inspire you guys. Today is called Creative Mornings for a reason, and we want to get you guys inspired. We want you guys to be creative yourselves and go out there and do your thing. So that's what this is all about. Let's go. Elise Swopes. I'm a photographer, designer. This is my logo. It's an ode to the internet. I like to say that I am a child of the internet. I know a lot of people can probably relate to that. We grew up, at least I did, on the computer 24/7, always just constantly Googling things. That's all I did, just Google, taught myself a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna pause this real quick. So this is just a reel of a lot of things that I've done in the last 5-6 years. Not everything, but you can go to my website and see all the videos on there as well. But this is just a reel that I put together and a little montage. I'm gonna start back over and get it popping. So you'll notice, in that video that I'm carrying my phone a lot, right? You can see I'm carrying my phone. That's because I'm an iPhone photographer before I'm like a DSLR photographer or film photographer. I specialize in iPhone photography and mobile editing. When you go to my website, if you want to continuously watch all of those videos in a longer realm, you'll see that I love to teach people about mobile photography. I love everything about social media. I think there's just something really, really, really powerful happening in our time and age of having this amazing opportunity to create at the tip of your fingertip. There's something so cool about that. And not to mention, and not everyone has a bunch of money to spend on a really big DSLR, and we have these great opportunities to have either an Android or an iPhone or an iPad or whatnot to create and be passionate about what you want to, how you want to change the reality of things. I'm all about surrealism and imagination and thinking outside the box, because what you see here outside isn't all that. That's not the end result of any of this. It's all bigger than all of us, and we have these brains and this imagination for a reason, right? So I'm glad that all of you are here today, though, mostly. I'm really happy about that. And it's beautiful outside. This is like such a gorgeous day. So, all right. So, who is this? That's me. Now, I'm looking back and I'm thinking, do I know her? Have I met her? Because I don't think I knew myself at this time. So just to start off and tell you a little about where I come from and why I do what I do and who I am and all that good stuff is, I was born in St. Paul, Minnesota, on one of the coldest days of Minnesota's history. My dad actually had to go to the hospital while I was being born because he had frostbite on his hands. So that was an experience. I came into cold weather. And if you read a lot of my interviews on my website, you'll notice that people are always saying I'm the queen of Chicago winter. I love Chicago winter, so that's a nice little tidbit. And I think, when you come into something, I think it kind of comes back around in your life. I didn't go to school growing up. I was homeschooled. My dad is a teacher. He's a behavior disorder teacher in the suburbs. And I was taught on and off every day. My dad liked to take naps and forget. We'd be on recess and he'd forget that we had school. And I'm totally down with that. That was fun. But the best thing that my dad did was provide us with an artistic ability, with an imagination, to not feel like what you think is wrong. I think everybody is an individual, and I think we all have our own ideas, our own thoughts, our own everything, that how we, what you see is what you see. It's not what somebody else sees. It's all from experience. It's all from you and excuse me, on the inside of you. And because my dad brought us up in a way where art was first, I remember my mom bringing home our first computer. I had one of those blue Mac computers with the big back on it. And she hardly let me go on the internet, but when I could, I was on the dial-up on AOL. And there was this program on the computer called KidPix. I don't know if anyone remembers KidPix. Yeah, right? Oh, yes, I'm in the right room. Sometimes I say that and people are like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, yes, finally, you guys understand me. But KidPix was something that, it sounds funny, but it really, I think it's the reason who I am today. It's kind of silly, but it is. There was these letters on there where you'd put the letter on and you spell a word and it would be like, you'd put the letter and it'd be like, A. And then you hit C, like, C. And then you did D. It was really dope, but that's what I remember the most. That was really fun. But anyway, so eventually, my parents had a lot more work to do, and my dad couldn't homeschool us anymore, so I started going to public school. And when I got into public school, I actually accelerated in science and math classes, so they actually put me in 2 grades higher than I was actually supposed to be in. And I eventually kind of became still a child of the internet, growing with the internet. I owned my first website when I was 11 years old. And that was an interesting thing because at the time it was actually, someone had owned the website and it was the name that I wanted. I don't know why I wanted jazzygirl.com. I don't know. I really wanted it. So I had to beg my dad. I'm like this 11, 12-year-old. I'm in 6th grade. I'm like begging my dad. I'm like, Dad, you really need to like give me some money. I need to buy this website. I'm like super obsessed. Because I like, at the time I was making like HTMLs. I was putting HTMLs together. I was creating pixels. All I wanted to do was show people how to make their own website. And that's what I did. And my dad finally gave me money. I made the website. And I owned a website at 12 years old. And that was, I think, the intro to me understanding that I kind of loved everything about the computer, about technology, about helping others, most importantly, and just sharing what I know with people. And eventually, MySpace came around, good old MySpace. And that's when I started, like, actually, this is great. So I started selling websites, selling HTMLs for MySpace layouts, right? And my first paid gig was this girl, Bianca. We were in lunchroom, I remember. She said, Elise, you need to make me one of them layouts. And I said, what you got for me? What you gonna give me for it? She said, I got these McDonald's cheeseburgers. My mom brought them for lunch. I said, all right, I'll take those. And I took them. That was my first paid gig. So from there, you know, I think eventually becoming a teenager, I was more concerned with, you know, my friends, and I kind of fell off with designing, and I didn't care about school. I was in a weird place, but eventually I kind of graduated high school by the tip of my finger, and I ended up going to Columbia College, Chicago, downtown, and I started actually doing my major in broadcast journalism because I wanted to be on TRL. Yeah. And I think that was the same year they canceled TRL, so I was just I had to question. I was like, what am I doing right now, you know? But eventually I started meeting more people in Chicago because I was living here, and I started meeting musicians and rappers and really cool people who wanted websites built. And I realized, you know, I kind of really still love what I did, so I started making people album covers. I started designing their websites, and eventually, just skip a little bit more, but eventually I actually became a rapper for a little bit. I don't know if anyone saw my music video. You can Google that one. It's a fun one. But I was a rapper for a little bit, and that was really cool. They played a couple of my records on Eminem's radio station in LA, and we ended up doing a music video, which was really fun. And from there, though, let's jump to Instagram. So Instagram had started, it was like 2011, it's like in the beginning of 2011. And you're probably gonna look at this and be like, what is this? When I started Instagram, these were the pictures I was posting, because I was going I was going to Austin, Texas for the first time. I was going to South by Southwest, and I was really, really excited. And I'm like, there's this new app, it's Instagram. I'm like posting pics, I'm like posting selfies. But my first picture I ever posted was a Google Maps drive from Chicago to Austin, Texas. We had about 10 people in this car, and I was like so hyped. I was like, oh, lots of hours, 16 hours, 18 hours. I don't even know which way we took. Let's hope we took the 16. But but yeah, that was, I mean, you know, we all start somewhere on Instagram. So, I mean, you know, this is just so you guys understand, like, people are always telling me, they're like, look at I got 200 followers. Oh my God, I'm so dope. But I'm like, I was there, and I'll show you guys a screenshot. Actually, someone said something on one of my pictures, which was super cute. But so this was like when I first started getting into like designing on my iPhone, and I did some really weird stuff. I have 3 cats, and my boyfriend actually, I think he was traveling. That's my boyfriend right there. I don't know if anyone knows Trash Hand. He's pretty dope on Instagram. He's crazy style. He inspires me all the time. But he was in Belgium, and he took a picture of his, that was not your dad. I keep thinking it was your dad. It was not your dad. No, his dad was not on a bike. But he caught a picture of someone on a bike, and I put my cat's head on it, and I thought that was so funny and so great. But, so you can see someone named Cuddly Koala 01 said, 55 likes, this gives me hope. You feel that? That's the power. So, people are always, questioning. I get a lot of likes, I have a lot of followers, yes, but we all start somewhere, and we all have an imagination, and not even me at this state of when I was creating was I thinking, yes, I'm gonna be Instagram famous, yes, I'm gonna get paid to do this stuff. Like, that was nowhere on my mind, not even close. All I did was love creating, love just being on Instagram. There was like this amazing community about it at the time, and it wasn't about, there was no celebrities on there. I remember taking pictures with my iPhone and a lot of my friends being like, what are you posting to? Which is crazy, because Instagram is one of the biggest platforms now. So, it's all about luck. And for me, when I think about what luck is, it's all about preparation and opportunity. And when you are prepared and you love what you do and you get these opportunities, you try your best at it, that's luck. That's how you get things done. So I'm going to get into just a little bit into how I started into sponsored posts. So this is not the first sponsored post that I did, but this is the one that kind of made me realize that I'm probably a little crazy, but also I think I know how to pull people in. Because when this project came about, so this is what Bolt House Farms, and they're promoting these drinks. I eventually had a bunch of comments. People were like, that has MSG in it, all this stuff. Yeah, it probably does, I don't know. But at the time, I was like, let me get that check. And this is a while ago. It was 179 weeks ago, so. But so with this, it was, I saw a lot of other people doing theirs and their sponsored content with this bottle, and all they did was, put the bottle in the middle of the street, or, they were holding it in their hand, and I really, really just, I love what I do. I love my art, right? But the thing is that I had to understand that I had to meld my art with their message. And to do that, I had to get crazy. I had to do something weird, and I knew I had to make people uncomfortable. But it doesn't say how many comments I got, but I had 330 comments on a sponsored post, with a lot of people being like, that's crazy, but like 1/3 of them being like, MSG. But like, that's totally fine, right? They're talking. But this actually ended up on the New York News, which was crazy. For sponsored content. Like, they were talking about influencers and the good work that they were doing and the really fun stuff, and they ended up putting this on the news, which was super great. But my idea behind this was, it was a problem presenting this to them, because they were like, that's gross. Yeah, it's gross, but it got the message across, and a lot of people got their coupons, and people, they got their favorite drink, if that was, and that's all that mattered. So I got the job done, right? This is also, so people ask me, why do I put giraffes in my photos? Actually, I do not know. I have no idea. It really started off with me putting like different types of animals in a lot of my shots, like at first. Like I put my cat head. I was putting like wolves and like elephants and different stuff. And for some reason, people really, really liked the giraffe, and they really connected to it. And for me, I'm all about, I love what I do, but I also love knowing that people really love what I do too. So when I do the giraffe and people ask about the giraffe, I do it for them because I like seeing people smile, I like seeing people be happy, and I think there's just something really magical and fun about a giraffe. But this was one of the few other promoted posts that I had done. At this time, this is not when the FTC was like, you need to put #ad. See, I got away with that with this one. That was pretty nice. But you'll come to find out that people are a little uncomfortable with #ad and #sponsored. They're getting better at it, but I'll tell you a little bit about that eventually, because I have some tips. But yeah, that's my little giraffe. I call it Swopes Giraffe. That's my homie. So, these are a few logos from the brands that I've worked with, and just a few names, just little ones. And just some small. People ask me, what's your favorite job that you've done? They're all very unique, but I'd have to say going to Dubai was probably one of the top. I was working with the luxury collection, and that was just an unbelievable experience. Working with a hotel is always amazing because they go above and beyond for everything. But Dubai is a beautiful, beautiful place. And I have to say, obviously, my second was the Frosted Flakes job that I did. I don't know if you guys saw a little piece of the commercial in the video, but Tony the Tiger and I were celebrating the cinnamon Frosted Flakes. Very exciting. And we wake up in the morning, we have our bowl of cereal, and we go out and we run. We run. We run for a while. And we end up at the Hancock Observatory, and we end up doing the 360 tilt. Has anyone done the 360 tilt yet? No? Anybody? What? It's super freaky. It's sketchy. Don't do it. You guys are lucky. You're safe. But yeah, those are, and also I think a lot of the jobs that I've done with Adobe are really fun as well. They're very open to anyone wanting to be creative as possible, and that's just something really, really powerful to me. And you always want to work with somebody who, and this is the thing, and I've struggled with this in the past, is thinking, when people give me a packet or an idea or something about a message they're trying to get across, I have to think, well, they came to me for a reason, right? They've seen my work, they know what I do. I don't necessarily have to think, okay, let me change my whole self for what they're trying to accomplish, right? We need to meet halfway. And I think that's the biggest thing if you're doing sponsored content or anything like that, is that you really, really have to pay attention to the fact that people love you for a reason. People like what you do, they like why you do things, and you really, really have to make sure that because your audience is the one consuming, and they're the ones that are going to be acting on this sponsored content, in case they need to go buy something or click a link or whatnot, you really have to make a lot of people happy. And sometimes that can be frustrating and it can be really confusing, but I think the biggest thing is that you know what you like. You know what you love. You know what will be good for your audience. So don't sacrifice that for a check. Point blank. So these are a few of my edits, and I'm just going to go down and show you guys some apps that I use actually and how to create those if anyone wants to start being awesome iPhone photographers. And so this is a shot from the Sears Tower. I still call it Sears. I'm petty.
Sears forever.
I'm petty. Did you hear that? I think they're trying to change it to Blackstone or something. They're trying to switch it up on us. I ain't having it. I ain't doing it. Girl, she knows. She get it. But anyway, so this is an app called Photo Studio. And a lot of people are always like, how do you think of these things? What do you gain your inspiration from? Honestly, what I do the best at is download a lot of apps and just really, and this is the best thing, we've got these things called undo buttons. It's so cool, like, oh my God. And if you do anything, you can literally go back and you can save it, and redo it, and you can do, I just keep doing weird stuff all the time, 24/7. I don't even care what it looks like, how it's gonna come out, I don't even have a plan. I'm just doing things, I'm just making things. And that's the power we have with, mobile photography and editing and even desktop and whatever that, I'm talking so fast. See, this is what happens. I'm almost out of breath. I feel like I just ran a mile, man. But, with these apps, we're able to do so much. So simply with Photo Studio, they have this awesome technique. It's called False Mirror 3. And I've used it on an image that I actually shot yesterday from my balcony. And you just do a slight little distortion, flip up the frequency. I mean, you can really do whatever you feel like, but this is a secret. I don't tell people this. They'll ask me in the comments, like, how'd you do that? You guys are getting the backstage, called BTS. But yeah, so that's cool. It's a little wiggly. It's doing some stuff. I mean, this is the thing, I could have easily posted that picture like normally, right? But like, I didn't feel like it. So, that's cool. This is an image I shot actually from a helicopter. And this image actually was an accident because when I looked at it, it was crooked. And I was crying the whole time on the helicopter because the doors were open and it was really, really cold. And there was like snot flying everywhere. And he knows, he was laughing at me. But it was crazy because I didn't wear a coat and I was hurt. But I got some images on accident, and I think this is the thing about shooting is that you want to shoot as much as possible. Even the accidental shots can get you something really crazy. You want to give me that drink? I don't know if I need it right now. Do I sound a little chopped? A little bit. Oh, okay. All right, I'm going to take a drink. This is a boyfriend/management. Thank you. No, we don't want to go back. We're staying here. So with this shot, I just used this app called Art Studio. And like I said, I still make everything on my phone. Like I just think there's something so super cool about using your fingertips to create something. And not to mention, and this is not for everybody, my fingers are small as hell. So I have friends who will like be like, oh, I want to edit on my phone. Do you use like a stylus? You can use a stylus. Like, go for it. Like, use it. I got some friends who got like some big fingers, so I don't know. It really depends. Unless you have an iPad too, like that's great. But just a few little steps. So this is what the app looks like, and it's kind of like Photoshop. It's got all these basic little tools, and things that you can easily use. But at first, because I had been designing and creating things since I was really young, I kind of opened up a lot of these apps and felt like I kind of understood where they were going with it. When it comes to these types of apps, they do have really basic tools that don't overthink it too much. It's very simple. What it says is what it's going to do. And thankfully, like I said, we have this undo button, which is super amazing. And we're able to just test things out, just take a ride. So this is how, and literally, people were mind-boggled about this shot. But all I did was just like cut out a little piece and just flipped it. And something so simple would, and I'm telling you, when I was doing this, I wasn't being like, I know exactly what this is gonna look like. Like I literally was just messing around. I probably had like 50 different edits of this until I came down to this. And that's how it goes. It's like everything is just on a trial basis. You just going for it. I want to say a curse word, but I'm not. I'm chilling. But you flow with it. So yeah, that's Art Studio, and I use that a lot. Okay, so this image is an edit that I would normally do. I like to change the sky. I don't know why. I don't know where I got this from. I don't know where the things I'm thinking come from, but what I do know is that because these apps are available and because we have the technology to do these things is why I do them. I don't think I ever would have did the sky if there wasn't a circular app. You see what I mean? So like, that's why you have to go into an app not thinking, okay, this is what I want to do. When you open it, you're just going to test it out, see how it goes, play with it, do all types of things, use all these things, and then that's when you finally feel like you found that inspiration, you found that idea. So that's the original image of the sky. And what circular is going to do is like it's going to have you crop it. And then it's going to give you like this really cool circular thing. And you can tell that's exactly what that sky is. And I've just circled it. And you can play with like the zoom tab, and you can rotate it, and you can even invert it when it kind of looks like one of those like tiny world things too, which is super helpful. And I always flip the Y or flip the X. Okay, so I have some tips. I have a little bit of tips to tell you guys. And these are just things I've learned along the way. And you're going to learn a lot of things too about whatever you may be doing. So, first and foremost, be authentic. Be real, man, because even coming from when I first started, I think there was something really magical about Instagram where we were all a really small, close-knit community before it became, about Kim Kardashian and Kylie Jenner. It was about like the art, and it was about iPhone creations. It was about talking to people from different places where you knew that they liked shooting or liked editing photos, but they were from Portland, or they were from Thailand, or they were from wherever the case may be. They were from somewhere. And just the pure fact that you guys knew that you had that in common was something really beautiful. And the fact that you can just be yourself, love what you do, and put it out there, I think is something really powerful, and I think a lot of people attach to that. And, we live in a day and age where we can decide on how people see us, And I think it's our responsibility to the younger generation to be authentic and to be real and to tell them that, we do have failures and we do have struggles and we make mistakes because that's normal. It's normal to make mistakes, right? And I think a lot of people forget that sometimes, is that not everything is going to be perfect. And for me, going through all of this whole Instagram stuff has been a huge learning process. It really has been, because like I said, I didn't come into this thinking, okay, I'm going to be Instagram famous. I'm going to travel the world taking pictures with my iPhone. All I did was genuinely love what I do. And if I could come across and tell people that maybe I was struggling with, depression, or maybe I was having, some drug problems, or whatever the case may be, I think that opened me up to people actually seeing me as a person rather than just a picture. And I think a lot of people resonate with that. You'll notice that a lot of these YouTubers or a lot of Vine people are like really, really famous. But I think it's because people see them as people. And they see them moving and talking and breathing. But with Instagrammers, you don't really know until we had IG story and all that kind of stuff. I think there was a misconception about Instagrammers that we weren't actually real people, that our images were just up for you to kind of screenshot and then move on with your life, right? But we're actually real, and we're here, and we have feelings, and we do things, and we care about our art, and we care about people, and we care about teaching people things. So be authentic, be cool, be real, be honest, and help people. Like I said, and I've repeated this a lot of times, love what you do. I think that will always shine through. I think a lot of people are always saying, like, fake it till you make it. Like, you can only fake it for so long. You can only fake it for so long, and you can only pretend for so long, and you can only, someday you're going to have to show up and be honest and be real and tell people about something. Because, like, when I just came back from Barcelona, I was doing a 3-day workshop with Adobe, and if I was faking it, I wouldn't be able to tell these people anything. I wouldn't even be able to be up here and tell you guys anything, right? Because if you love what you do, then you just know it, you feel it, you get it, right? So that's a huge concept, and a lot of what I try to tell people is that you can have all the plans in the world, you can do all this stuff, but I think if you truly love what you do, it'll work out in the end, and everything will work in your favor. It really will. Failure is good. I think failure is one of the best possible things that you can go through. I think failure is a lesson that you won't ever learn unless you really went through it. I think you can tell people things, and I could sit up here and tell you guys all these tips, right? But you probably won't really get it until you feel it, till you emotionally internalize it and you experience that. So embrace your failures, embrace your mistakes. Just because you make a mistake or you have a failure in a sponsored post or an ad or people are like MSG, you're gonna take that into consideration next time, right? Because that's just how it works. You have to go through these things in order to get the good out of it. So I welcome failure. I like failure. It's my friend, and I make friends with it. And I also make friends with doubt too. I think a lot of people are always like, you gotta really be like positive in your mindset, but like we all have doubt. We all wake up and we're like, am I doing the right thing today? Or even with like social media, we see a lot like we're always being pushed in our face about people succeeding. A lot of people are always succeeding. They're always traveling. They're doing all this amazing stuff, right? But like that's not our story. That's not my story. And I'd rather go through my story to get to where I need to be, to get those lessons, those struggles, to be as strong as I need to be where I am. You are your own person. You are your own experiences, and those things are powerful. Because what you see on the internet is not real life, technically. I mean, get this. A lot of people are always like, internet's not real life. I think it's real life. I do. I'm one of those people, like, I live on the internet. I love it. I'm a child of the internet, like I said. So just be aware that your story is your story, and what you go through is necessary to be where you're at. And I think that's how a lot of people get to where they are, is by struggle. Health first. And I think a lot of people forget this sometimes, is we'll wake up and we'll look at our phone, and that's when we start our day, is what's on the phone. We look at the phone and we see our to-do list, and we're like, let's get the to-do list done. But I think wake up, get a big glass of water, and just do a little yoga, do a little workout, feel a little sweat, do something to get your mind right. Because I think because the internet is so accessible and we're so forced into it, that we really got to think about the outside. We got to think about the inside of ourselves. And I think that's where this starts, is mental. And treating yourself like you are your tool. And you would update your computer, right? You'd update your computer, you get it, fixed if it had a problem, or if your phone had a screen crack. Maybe some people wouldn't fix it, but I would. So, what you internalize is what will be shown. And I think also taking into consideration of your own struggles and presenting that in your work is really powerful too. Like I said, just being genuine and authentic and being open to people is one of the main things that I always try to, support and have people be excited about. And personally, health has become new to me. I've been eating better, been drinking a lot of water, been trying to work out, and I've been trying to think better. I think disconnecting sometimes is really good, not worrying about what everyone else is doing, how they're succeeding. I am my biggest obstacle. I am my biggest competitor, right? I think that's how a lot of people should look at it, is that not other humans are your competition, you are your competition. And when you finally realize that is when you can really start succeeding, you can really start getting better. Because when I get stuck in a rut, design-wise, what I do is look at my old work and I see what I didn't like about it. I don't go to other people's pages and be like, okay, this is what I want my work to look like today. No, I look back at my old work and I say, I don't like how that's edited, I don't like that color. I'm gonna recreate this edit and I'm gonna do it a little different, I'm gonna do it a little better. And that's how I gain my inspiration for myself. So those are just a few things that I'm actually even learning myself right now. You know, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning this. Like there is no book on like how to do any of this stuff. You know, and I think that's really something to think about when anyone has an idea or anyone has a drive to do something. Is that there's no book about your life. You don't read the book of your life. You just figure it out along the way. So we're all figuring it out. We're all having fun, though, I hope. But still loving what you do, keeping art first, if that's your first, you know. And family, too. Family is really important. And, so that's me. And I don't even know what time it is. I wonder if I'm doing decent.
Yeah, I think we're
Perfect.
close on time.
Awesome. Well, like I don't want to leave you guys. I even like this floor. This floor is kind of funky, right? It's kind of cool. It's like super my vibe. I like always put stars and stuff. But again, thank you all for coming here and listening to me. Sometimes I'm like, really? All these people want to hear me talk? This is crazy. But I'm going to try to keep doing you guys proud. I'm going to keep putting giraffes in random places. And no more MSG. I promise, not for a check. We're doing better these days. But again, thank you guys for coming. I hope you had a really good time. I hope you enjoyed the donuts. Thank you.